He wasn't the kind of guy you'd see in a boxing tutorial. No slow-mo breakdowns. Nobody scrubbing through old footage to marvel at his finesse. His feet moved like they were stuck in yesterday's beer, and his punches? Big, clumsy arcs, like a drunk swinging at ghosts. But he gave every opponent the same sermon before the bell, leaned in close and whispered it like gospel. "I ain't the prettiest bastard in there," he warned, "but I know where the pain lives. And my left hand's got a key to your ribcage. You can brace, block, pray. Won't matter, because now you're locked in the ring with..." Rafael Limon's story doesn't begin in a boxing ring. It begins in the dusty village of Tlaxco, Mexico, where poverty was a way of life and violence was part of the air he breathed. His father was a soldier, hard-edged, quick-tempered, and too often drunk. The blows he delivered weren't in the service of his country, but directed at Limon's mother, until one day she'd had enough. She gathered Rafael and his siblings and fled to Mexico City in search of a different life. But trauma has a long memory. One afternoon, when Rafael was 15, a man reached out and grabbed him on the street. Limón didn't wait for explanations. He landed a punch and bolted for home. The man followed, and Rafael prepared to fight again. But just as fists were about to fly, his mother stepped between them and offered a quiet truth that will leave a deeper mark than any jab or uppercut. "That's your real father," she told him. For Limón, it was a moment of emotional whiplash. The man he had feared and fled wasn't his biological father after all. The stranger he just struck was. It was a revelation that would linger in his psyche, a fracture in his sense of identity, one more scar to carry into the ring. By 18, Limón followed in the footsteps of the man he once feared, joining the army. He hadn't planned on boxing. In fact, he mocked it. One day after watching a fellow soldier get bloody during sparring, Limón couldn't resist teasing him. The major in charge didn't take kindly to the jeering. "If it's so funny," the major said, "why don't you get in there?" Limón did, and to everyone's surprise, especially the major's, he was a natural. His punches weren't refined, but they landed with such concussive force that the major gave him a name that would follow him for life: Bazooka. The nickname didn't just stick, it branded him. Recognizing his raw power, the military sent Limón to train under Kid Rapides, the same trainer who once molded the legendary Jose Napoles. Limón's amateur career was short but frantic, 46 fights in just 10 months, but any early illusions he had about the sport were shattered one night in the ring when an opponent didn't get back up. Limón had killed a man with his fists. "I hate boxing," he later confessed. "It's awful. You can go blind, you can get killed, you can lose your marbles. The only reason I do it is for the money." In 1972, Limón made his professional debut. He was 18. For a while, he stayed close to home, fighting exclusively on the Mexico City circuit. But it wouldn't be long before he was summoned north, cast as the opponent for a new fan favorite, California's own Bobby Chacon. The two would become entangled in one of boxing's most brutal rivalries. But that storm was still on the horizon. For now, Bazooka was just a name with heavy hands and a future written in blood. By 1975, Limón was sitting on a 20-7 record, hardly the resume of a world beater. He was brought in as a warm body, expected to give former featherweight champion Bobby Chacon a few rounds before folding. Instead, Limón went the distance and won. A unanimous decision over 10 rounds shocked the odds and ignited one of boxing's most bitter rivalries. That night, Limón earned more than a win. He earned a name. The victory lit a fuse in Limón. His confidence swelled. So did his fury. On February 1st, 1976, Limón stepped into the ring with Vicente Ayumbito Blanco, a once promising featherweight whose manager had downplayed Limón's win over Chacon, calling it meaningless because, in his words, Chacon was a shot fighter. Limón didn't forget. He gave Blanco 10 rounds of calculated cruelty. After the final bell, Limón didn't go to his corner. He walked straight to Blanco's and punched the manager in the face. "Now your fighter is shot," he said, leaving no room for interpretation. The violence didn't stop there. Limón ran through Japan's Toru Noji and former world champion Lionel Rose in televised bloodlettings. With every win, the myth of Bazooka Limón grew. He wasn't just winning, he was bruising the sport's memory with every uppercut. He steamrolled through a string of club fighters, cobbling together the longest win streak of his career until a rematch with Chacon ended in a technical draw. Unfinished business, thick in the air. 3 months later, Limón got a shot at Alexis Arguello's WBC junior lightweight crown. Arguello was class, poise, and precision. Limón came for war. He mocked Arguello's Nicaraguan roots in the lead-up, and once the bell rang, he turned dirty. Low blows, rabbit punches, headbutts, anything to rattle the gentleman of Managua. Limón didn't just want the belt, he wanted to leave a scar. But it was Limón who wore the blood first. From the opening round against Arguello, crimson began to trickle. Arguello, a surgeon with a switchblade for a right hand, went to work, carving Limón up with punishing precision. He threw every power shot in his arsenal. Limón never blinked, never hit the canvas. 11 rounds of attrition and punishment. And when the referee finally waved it off, Limón did only what a defiant can. He smirked. Like Jake LaMotta to Sugar Ray Robinson, he taunted Arguello. "You couldn't knock me down." Later, Limón shrugged it all off with a grin and a confession. "I met a nice Filipino girl," he said. "Didn't train right. I don't want to make excuses, but I was addressing other business instead of training." It was classic Bazooka, half joke, half truth, all chaos. 5 months later, he was back in the ring with Bobby Chacon for their third dance. Limón dominated most of the 10 rounds, but when the scorecards came in, it was Chacon's hand raised. A disputed decision, another bitter chapter in a rivalry built on blood and resentment. Still, Bazooka kept coming. Soon after, he was matched with Idelfonso Barthelemy for the vacant WBC junior lightweight title. Limón won, becoming champion at last. But even with the belt strapped around his waist, he didn't celebrate. "I don't feel like a champion," he said. The real champ, Arguello, moved up in weight. It wasn't humility, it was honesty. Limón knew the crown was inherited, not conquered. In March of 1981, he met Cornelius Boza Edwards, a rising star out of Great Britain with power, poise, and youth on his side. Limón, never one for diplomacy, taunted Boza Edwards before the fight. Limón stoked controversy by invoking one of boxing's darkest chapters, the tragic bout between Lupe Pintor and Johnny Owen, the Welshman who never made it out of the ring alive. Limón promised a repeat performance, claiming it was simply, quote, "what happens when Mexicans fight the British." But Edwards was no ghost waiting to be written into another fighter's legend. That night, he met Limón head-on, punch for punch, refusing to yield ground. In the 5th round, he did the unthinkable, dropping the Iron Chin Limón with a flush shot. Edwards would go on to win a bruising decision and the WBC junior lightweight title, silencing Limón's provocations the only way it mattered, in the ring. Limón would wait over a year for another shot at the crown. This time it was against the dangerous Rolando Navarrete, the Filipino slugger who had ripped the title from Edwards' grasp. As usual, Limón turned the psychological screws early, taunting Navarrete, sticking out his tongue, mugging for the crowd, and daring his opponent to overcommit. Navarrete obliged. He poured on the pressure, finding Limón's chin with regularity. But the Mexican veteran had been here before. He wasn't just taking punishment, he was laying a trap. With each flurry from Navarrete, Limón absorbed, retreated, and waited. And as the rounds wore on, it was clear. The storm had spent itself. Navarrete had punched himself into exhaustion, and Limón, ever the ring trickster, emerged from the quicksand once again, fresher, smarter, and ready to close.
Oh, good solid counterpunch by the champion. Limón has not been too kindly in his comments about Navarrete. He calls him a second-class champion. Under a minute to go. Round 2. Toe-to-toe in the middle of the ring with body shots. Left uppercut scored by Navarrete, and again Limón irresolutely looking back at him. Hard to stick your tongue out with a mouthpiece.
Tim, I wouldn't want to see him get hit when he's sticking his tongue out, I'll tell you that.
A solid right hand to the chin of Limón, the challenger, and he hangs on. First time he's grabbed in this fight.
He was shook, Tim. He was hurt. And Navarrete knows he hurt him.
left hand by the champion, not much damage. Now Limón again derisively pointing his chin forward to Navarrete, trying to convince the champion that he was not hurt, but he was shook. Under a minute to go in the 5th round. And he scored a solid right hand. He scored the whole hand. Landed a good right hand. And another solid left. And another right.
The right hook of Navarrete's been the big difference in this fight, Tim.
Now listen, Limón says, come on, let's fight. Solid inside punching and a good right hand to the chin. Limón stayed right there. Navarrete really blasted. Lands another combination. Navarrete might be discouraged here. He's landing big punches. He's going forward. Another combination.
Limón has a chin of iron, but even iron can get worn out. Close to Navarrete now. There's no moving around. He's staying right on him. Making Navarrete throw punches.
The left scored by the champion. Short right hand. Limon's punches on the other hand doing no damage. Challenger Limón landed an overhand left hand, lands an overhand right hand. Navarrete hurt him. Yes, he did. 2 big punches. Stopped the champion in his tracks. Now he's standing there. A good followed uppercut. The challenger Limón has the champion in trouble. Navarrete will not hold on. He's standing there slugging. The crowd coming alive. The partisan Mexicans in the crowd. Cheering for Limón. Navarrete slugging with him. What a round, number 8. Under 30 seconds to go. Both of them missed.
Tim, we said that Limón was trying to take the heart out of Navarrete, and that's the only way he could win the fight. That's what he's trying to do.
There's blood from his nose bleeding now. Champion has his nose bleeding. Limón trying to press the advantage now, coming to the final second. Limón finding inner resources, slugging away at Navarrete, who refuses to move away from there. Navarrete in black, Limón the challenger in red. We have had everything we expected from 2 tough young men. Solid left hand from Limón, tagging the champion. Navarrete's in difficulty, but he stays there again.
He's in trouble, Navarrete. He's really in trouble.
Limón trying to land a clean one, but Navarrete managed to block him with his arm, and he will not blink to move away. Now he lands a big right hand. And Limón with a left hand now.
And we mentioned earlier that Limón has the chin. He has the better chin than Navarrete. Navarrete's the better puncher. It gets down to whether the rock is going to wear out the paper, whichever way it is.
Movable force beating an immovable object is what we're seeing here in round number 9.
Now we're into the championship distance. It's the last 5 rounds. Now it's, they just exchanged tough punches.
Tremendous right hand by Navarrete, and Limón didn't back up at all, but now a left back into the rope. Navarrete pulls away from there. Chain to the body, then to the head. Both fighters.
The difference in that exchange is that Navarrete's throwing the shorter punches.
Solid right hand again by the champion. There's a slight nick under the right eye of the challenger Limón.
Limon's corner is calling him on. They're saying, come on, come on.
Navarrete wobbled him again, had him on his heels, but Limón comes forward once more. Body shot by the champion to Limón, throwing his punches caught by the arms of the champion. Under a minute to go. Down 12, and again, Navarrete straightening up Limón. Combination. The mouth of Limón open now. More obviously, first time of that kind of fatigue. Having difficulty breathing now, moving that mouthpiece around.
Those short punches, Tim, it's like going into a threshing machine, and Navarrete's really scoring with those short, snappy punches.
Under 30 seconds to go in the 12th round. Good round for the champion Navarrete, but now Limón is forward to the right on the left and right there. Navarrete is resting on the ropes over there. May have been stunned. He's hurt. Navarrete goes down. He might not get up in the 12th round. Bazooka Limón. Closing seconds of the round. That's it. It's all over. Bazooka Limón has won the championship with a stunning combination that hurt Navarrete. He seemed to be resting, but he had been hurt, and he could not get his hands up. And Limón, who was behind the wayward shot, scored that stunning 12th round knockout.
By the time Limón stepped into the ring against Chung Il-choi, he was no longer just a belt holder. He was a 2-time world champion, and for the first time, he truly felt like one. Across from him stood the South Korean slugger Choi, a hard-charging underdog with something to prove. Just 8 months earlier, Choi had dropped in nearly dethroned then-champion Rolando Navarrete, and he came into this bout with the same bad intentions. Round after round, he racked up points and damage, splitting the champion's scalp and opening a jagged cut above his left brow. His right hand snapped into Limon's skull like a hammer on sheet metal, but for all the blood and bruises, Limón refused to yield. As boxing writer Joe Bruno said, the Korean's punches may have landed clean, but they might as well have been brushing the Rock of Gibraltar with a feather. Limón, blood streaming down his face, dug in deeper. Every time Choi landed a shot, Limón answered with defiance. The sight of his own blood didn't rattle him, and only sharpened his edge. With each round, the Mexican warrior transformed pain into momentum, punishment into purpose. The more brutal the fight became, the more alive he looked.
And Choi mixes it up with a right to the body. We're halfway through round 7. And in this round, Limón has untracked his jab, an important weapon for him because it'll help him set up that looping left hand. Two big left hands by Limón, and Choi went down because of a body shot on the right side. He's in deep trouble as Felix counted. He got up at 8. Referee Steele holding off Limón, so the champion has put the challenger down. And down goes Choi again because of a body shot. He's in big trouble. The count is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Up at 9. He just beat the count, but Choi is in deep trouble. Body shots have really hurt him. The South Korean is game. Limón going for the body. And Richard Steele stops the fight. Limón successfully defends his title with a TKO in the 7th round. He was way behind in the story, but the champion pulls it out.
After the bout, Limon's longtime manager Cuyo Hernandez said, "In all my years, I've never seen a fighter who makes winning so difficult. Every fight with Bazooka is a war. Just once, I'd like to see him breeze through. But there's no such thing as an easy fight for Limón." And the road was only about to get rougher. Up next, Bobby Chacon for the 4th time. By then, Chacon looked like a fighter over the hill. He'd been stopped by Cornelius Boza Edwards. Worse still, Chacon was fighting with ghosts. His wife, Valerie, had recently taken her own life, a tragedy that had left emotional wreckage in its wake. Limón, never one to back down from psychological warfare, crossed a line even boxing's brutal code rarely excuses. He mocked Valerie's suicide, telling Chacon that she was in hell and that he'd be joining her soon. If he thought it would rattle the veteran, he was wrong. Instead, it lit a fire under Chacon. The former champion, fueled by grief and defiance, vowed to dedicate the fight to his wife's memory. Bazooka, as ever, was ready for war. What neither man knew was that this final chapter in their saga would go down as one of the most unforgettable, emotionally charged brawls in boxing history.
Left hand to the side of the head may have hurt him. Now Chacon fights out of the corner with 2 rights to the head. Another right by Chacon. Another right by Chacon. Another right by Bobby. And then let go of Fleury. Now he taunts Chacon a little and brings the right hand over the top. Chacon nails him with a hard right, but Bazooka comes right back with a straight left, and they're going to give Bobby Chacon an 8 count. Mandatory 8 count, and the judgment of the referee, Herrera, it was a knockdown, though he didn't go all the way down. They exchanged hard blows, and it was Chacon who hit the canvas. Tried to duck under it, and he caught him on the side of the head with it. The right hand uppercut got in. Chacon blinked. He needs to get out of that corner because Limón is letting him go. Right hand gets him again.
Chacon needs to get out of that corner. Does with a right hand and staggers the champion with another right hand. They bumped heads. They butted. Hard butt. They really banged heads. And now Chacon pressing to fight. Now he hooks twice to the head of the champion, but comes back to the right. Is that right again? Limón, and now he bangs away at the body of Chacon, and I thought for a moment Bobby might have wobbled a little bit from that left hand. Limón will load it up. You can't take that kind of punishment too long. You got to fight your way out of it. Now Chacon is trying, and Limón won't let him out. In the corner, he might be a little weary. Pretty good left hand by Bazooka there. Trying to set him up for a big left and can't find him. There's a left to the face, another left, a right over the top, a hook by Chacon. Chacon comes back with a left and a right. And now it's the champion taking a hard right to the jaw on the rope. 20 seconds to go in round 8. This is the biggest round of the fight for Bobby Chacon. Round 8's over. Just like that. There's a cut on just on the right side of the nose, near the corner of the right eye, that resulted from a headbutt back in the 4th round. You see it on Chacon's face, and there's a bit of a nick in the right eyebrow area of the champion, Bazooka Limón. A really whacked head. The left hook is a pretty good one by Bobby Chacon. Another left hook, another right hand. A hard right hand by Chacon. There's a good hard left hook by Bazooka Limón in that wild exchange in the corner. There's 2 rights by the champion. And now he's starting to find Bobby Chacon, but Bobby comes right back with a left and a hard right, and the right hand backs up Limón. He's in trouble. He's trying to hold on. You see him reach out and try to grab Chacon. Now he's shaking it off a little bit and starting to move. Another right hand by Chacon. Another right hand. By Bobby Chacon, 20 seconds to go. Bazooka Limón's in trouble. He's about to lose his mouthpiece. He almost went down on that exchange. I don't think he knows where he is. Chacon pressing the fight, and there's the bell, mercifully for the champion. But he has at times reverted back to his well-known ways of just wailing away at the body, trying to wear down the opponent. But so far, Chacon had just been getting rougher and rougher and rougher. I thought Bobby started to turn it around back in the 5th round. Chacon a little quicker, getting off first a lot of the time now. That right hand right into the face of the champion. Whoa, a hard left hand. Put Chacon on the seat of his pants. Bobby bounces up, but he was stunned. No question about it. And the referee giving him the standing, the 8 count, mandatory 8 count, as he stands in his corner. Now let's see whether or not Limón can take advantage of it. Came early in the round, and Bazooka now trying to press it. Back he goes to the body. hook by Chacon off the ropes, but Bazooka still got him there. Still wailing away at him at the left and a right for the champion, and a hard left hook by Chacon. This is what makes Bazooka Limón so tough, because he has such endurance and he can punish you in the late round. Cut's been reopened on the nose of Bobby Chacon. Chacon is scoring. Bazooka Limon's not getting a free trip in those exchanges in the corner at all. See Limón trying to fend him off, and now never cast a glance. Again, the champion trying to press it, but again keeps running into the right-hand lead of Bobby Chacon. In Sacramento. It's a full house. Over 4,000. 4,200. Hard right hand by Chacon. The champion backs up. And he holds now. There's a hard right by Chacon, a hard left by Limón. Both men were staggered. Both men were stunned. Left and a right by Chacon. And Limón looks tired and arm weary. Limón almost goes down from the right hand. He's trying to hold on, and Chacon won't let him. 20 seconds to go in round 13. Limón is in trouble. A right, a left, a right. Bazooka Limón is almost defenseless. Less than 10 seconds to go. The champion almost down twice in the closing minute. Grabs and holds on, and the round is over. Chacon, stunned, came roaring back, fighting instinctively, and almost put Bazooka Limón down. The champion, so weary as he went to his corner. And Joe Ponce had to go out and grab Bobby Chacon and bring him back to the corner. And they're still working on the cut on Bobby Chacon. Incredible they have been able to go this far at this pace. The right hand over the top. Now he backs the champion out of there. Another right. Bazooka is in no condition to be taunting anybody. Loses his mouthpiece, takes a hard right, takes a hard left, takes another right, grabs and holds on with 35 seconds to go. And once again, Chacon has the champion in trouble. Hard to the body, over the top, Chacon. And Bazooka wild and ineffective and hurt. But still dead game. One round to go. Under California rules, a cut stopped it. In their third meeting, it was Chacon who took a 10-round split decision. The cleaner, more precise blows now belong to Bobby Chacon. Fight still reasonably close, sure, on the scorecard. gets out of there. Less than a half minute to go. Chacon knocks him flat with a hard right hand with 13 seconds to go in the fight. Bazooka getting up very slowly. Very slowly. Takes a look at him. He wants to finish the fight. He knows he's in trouble. And the fight is over. So Bobby Chacon almost had the champion down on 3 occasions and finally got him in the 15th. It is Chacon.
Bobby Chacon!
The fourth and final war with Chacon earned 1982's Fight of the Year honors, a savage, tear-stained masterpiece that seemed to cap Limon's bloody saga in fitting fashion. But while the fight cemented his legacy, it also signaled the end of his time in the spotlight. 8 months later, Bazooka walked into a different kind of storm. This time, it was a 5-round demolition at the hands of a rising star named Hector Macho Camacho. Blazing fast, all flash and fangs like a cobra in boxing trunks, Camacho overwhelmed Limón with speed and precision. The fight wasn't close, and Limón knew it before the first bell. "I had to go to Puerto Rico, and I went for the money," he later admitted. "But I was scared when I fought Hector Camacho. I was frightened of getting hurt." After the loss, Limón, still only 29, stepped away from the game. He had absorbed more than his share of punishment and finally felt the weight of it. But boxing has a long memory and a short leash, and 3 years later, the bazooka was back, though the ammunition was gone. What followed was a slow-motion unraveling. The man who once laughed in the face of punishment now couldn't take it. His reflexes dulled, his recuperative powers drained. Limón leaned harder into taunting, once a tactic to frustrate opponents, now a mask for fading skills. He finally hung up the gloves for good at age 40. The once proud warrior then returned to active duty in the Mexican army. Married 5 times, the father of 5 found success investing in real estate in his native Mexico. "I never dreamed of having a house, a car, and a swimming pool," Limón said. "Thanks to boxing, I paid for my children's studies, and they're all successful in life." No one expected a happy ending, not for a man who taunted his opponents and led with his chin. But against the odds, Bazooka found something rare among fighters: peace, pride, and the quiet triumph of a life well lived.